What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back again with some more content for you guys. And today we are going to be looking at Spurs' 1-0 win against Luton. And I want to show you the one tactical change Postecoglou made, which got us the win, with Spurs struggling with 10 men going to the second half, setting the scene for you in the game. Spurs missed a flurry of chances in that first half after Richarlison and Pedro Porro missed big chances that Spurs created. We were heading into halftime with a bit of momentum, having played well, but Yves Bissouma gets himself sent off on the stroke of half-time, having dived while on a yellow, which set Tottenham a massive challenge in that second half to win the game with 10 men whilst not winning the game. So we had to go and score, and we had to keep out Luton. Now we set up in the second half. We took off, obviously Bissouma had been sent off. We took off Richarlison. We brought on PM or Højbjerg, and we set up a bit like this in the second half. At the start, it was a bit of a 4-3-2 formation. Kulusevski and Son giving us a bit of attacking threat. Maddison joining the midfield three with Højbjerg and Sarr. The back four of Porro, Romero, Van de Ven and Udogie. And what you can see is with Luton's formation, as they played three at the back and a wing-back system, you can see that they had a few overloads in those wide areas, and the wide areas is where they were going to look to exploit, and that they did in the start of the second half. I got a few screenshots to show how Luton were exploiting the wide areas. So you see the first one. Here is Ogbene on the right-hand side. You see our bank of four, but you see Porro, the right-back, completely tucked in. He's worried about Morris and Adebayo in the central areas. They're clogging up the central areas there, leaving the wide areas completely free, and Luton were able to get in on the right-hand side. You go to the next screenshot. You see Ogbene is able to get past Udogie on this occasion. Porro is forced to come in and look at Morris, leaving Adebayo completely free at the back post, and Ogbene was able to roll it across the face of goal, and luckily for us, Adebayo missed that opportunity, which was a really dangerous moment. But again, Luton were able to exploit those wide areas. If you look at the next screenshot again, another area where there's a crossing situation. This one time from the half space, Luton were able to get into a crossing situation. You see Højbjerg into the back four, but Van de Ven just behind. You can see he's looking at Ogbene. Morris is in the centre, but at the back post, Porro is again tucked in, and it leads to this situation where if you go to the next screenshot, the ball falls to Doughty on the left-hand side, and again, a big opportunity for Luton. Free in the wide area where Doughty should really be scoring. Luckily for us, he shanks it wide. And a final screenshot again. Morris exploiting that wide area on the left-hand side. Adebayo sees him running. He's able to play Morris in, and Morris in the next screenshot is able to get the shot off. Now, this was a big problem for Postecoglou because Luton in the start of that second half were definitely exploiting those wide areas, and it was very, very worrying. Albeit Spurs did get the goal. Van de Ven was able to score from after Maddison with a great piece of work from him from a short corner, but we would definitely had our back up against it. If I actually look at the stats in that period between half time and the 76th minute where the change was made, Luton had 7 shots to Spurs' 3. They had 9 successful dribbles, most of them being in the wide areas as well. And I think that really showed where they were getting their joy and where they were exploiting Tottenham and where they were taking advantage of the fact that we had 10 men. But Postecoglou did notice this, and he noticed that Tottenham needed to change something, otherwise the flow of the game was going to go against us. And he made 2 substitutions, which was very crucial. Maybe 2 subs which fans at the time might have been against, but what he did was he took off our attacking threat, and he took off Maddison and Heung-min Son, and he brought on Ollie Skip and Emerson Royale. And then all of a sudden the formation looked a bit like this. He went from a 4-3-2 to a 5-3-1, using Kulusevski as the target man up front as the lone striker. He brought Skip to add that defensive solidity in the midfield, and what he did was he put Emerson in right centre-back and moved Porro and Udogie to the wing-back situations to stop that threat from out wide. And what it meant was they had Udogie to deal with out wide, and Van de Ven or Emerson could come out wide as well and deal with the wingers if the wing back were to be beaten. And that led to a situation where Tottenham diminished Luton's threat out wide. And you can see some screenshots here. In the wide area, all of a sudden, Udogie's over him. You got Van de Ven backing him up. You got Højbjerg tracking back as well. And it's a lot more difficult for the wide players to get any joy. And as you can see, Porro isn't as tucked in now. He's not as worried about the central areas because you've got Emerson there, you've got Romero there, and Van de Ven there. And it basically meant that Luton couldn't really exploit the wide areas like they were at the beginning of the second half. You look again at the next screenshot, they get into the byline, he's taking Udogie, but again, you've got Emerson, who's on Woodrow. You've got Romero in there. Porro, he's a bit tucked in, but there's no one in the wide area in this situation. And that led to Spurs being able to see Luton out in the wide areas. And lastly as well, once they did make it out wide to the wide left in the next screenshot, you can see Doughty, the ball does fall to Doughty, but there is Emerson and Ollie Skip who are over to protect that shooting space. And this wasn't a situation where Spurs were maybe as open as they were in the beginning of the second half because of that extra body in the defence, and that led to the shot being blocked in this time, and when going out for a corner instead of a free shot like he did have in the first half. And the last screenshot we can see, again, they got in a crossing position, but you got 4 men in the box as opposed to 3, and you got Højbjerg backing up as well. And basically what it did is a sharp shot. It stopped Luton attacking the wide areas. It stopped them getting any joy in those spots, and it also meant that in the central area they weren't getting any free shots like they were in the first bit of the second half. And to show a stat to establish how we were able to block them out in those times, in the last 20 minutes of the game, Luton only had 1 shot on goal compared to the 7 they had in the first 20 minutes, and in terms of successful dribbles, they had 9 in the first 20 minutes. In the last 20 minutes, they only had 1 successful dribble. So that one change from Postecoglou cut the bleeding at source, stopped Spurs conceding chances, and stopped Luton getting joy in the wide areas. And it meant Luton, for all their good work at the beginning of the second half, really didn't have a chance at the end of the game, and Spurs actually seed out the game fairly comfortably compared to, especially when you're given the fact that we got 10 men, they seed out the game fairly comfortably and without incident in the latter stage of the game because of that one change Postecoglou made. So that is it for today's video. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought of Ange Postecoglou's tactical change which won us the game against Luton. Let me know if you agree with me, or maybe you see something else that maybe won the game for us. Let me know in the comment section below. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.